Welcome to the Sim Podcast. I'm your co-host Eric, and I'm always joined by my co-host. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. And this is episode 145, the wild card weekend. Ron, how are you feeling? I know you were nervous for that win it all or go home game. How are you feeling?
Yes. I don't know if you can see my shirt, but this is Rodgers' neighborhood. Mr. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest of all time, the GOATs.
You should gloat. You got permission to gloat, even though it wasn't an outstanding game. Because I'm looking at the numbers he put up. It wasn't like magical.
It's beyond the numbers. You got to look at like how he controlled the game. Just took charge of the offense, scored when we needed to, didn't panic, when Baltimore came down and scored. He's been a blessing, I must say. And then, statistically, I was having this debate, with my cousin. Yeah, if you compare his numbers to what Russell Wilson did, it's probably a lot of similarity. But, I think his leadership, far outweighs, what Russell Wilson was able to do with the team for sure. So let's see if that means anything in the playoffs. That's all that matters. It's good that we're here. Got the 10 wins. That's great. But that's not the ultimate goal. So we'll see what happens when we get to the playoffs.
Yes, this is a whole new tournament that we're talking about. So what's the agenda for today? This episode, we have NFL news. We have the Week 18 review. We have the winner, Ron. You are on top this year for the wins.
That's right.
We have our regular season predictions and results going all the way back to August. And then we have our wild card predictions. Ron, I know we're recording this on Wednesday, but Monday was considered the Black Monday for the head coaches. Was any surprise? I know John Harbaugh. I kind of wish that all four coaches of the AFC North were fired. But are you surprised about John Harbaugh?
No, not really. I thought, the writing has been kind of on the wall the last couple of years with him. I think it's, the Ravens and the Steelers are kind of in the same situation where you have these head coaches that have been there for so long. They're great, right? They're really good coaches. No one would argue about that. But, I think we're at a point where if you can't get over the hump all these years in a row, maybe it's time for a fresh start somewhere else for yourself as a coach and then for the team as well. So to me, it's not necessarily surprising that they moved on. I still think we got 7 openings now. There's still probably some more coaches, that's going to get, fired within the next few days or maybe when the playoffs are over. So nothing really has surprised me at this point.
I saw somebody commented online, Geno Smith got Pete Carroll fired twice.
It's probably true. I think Pete Carroll probably got Pete Carroll fired. But yeah, that's funny.
It is funny because it's true. I mean, it is, if you look at the statistics, it's probably Pete Carroll got some fire, but he basically rode with this guy, knowing well that he was not the quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, one and done. I feel like that should have happened to Aaron Glenn. Why wasn't he fired?
Yeah, I think, and again, it's still early. Owners can change their minds. If there is something I'm surprised about, to your point, it's the coaches that have not been fired as yet. Aaron Glenn is one of those names.
Todd Bowles?
Put Todd Bowles in that category. I was a little surprised that they decided to retain him.
McDaniels from Miami.
McDaniels, the Dolphins coach, and there's rumors or news that that's one of the 7 teams that contacted Harbaugh, as soon as he was fired. So it's funny that they still have a coach on their team. They're searching around and still looking for another coach to potentially replace McDaniel. So there's still some surprises, I think, but I think there's more to come. I don't think it's over yet. I think the Bills coach might be, another potential. Like if you lose this week, and you go 1-out again, maybe it's time for a change for him as well. So I think there's still some more dominoes to fall.
Raheem Morris, I feel like, it's not shocking, but at the same time, I feel like he's the token black coach, right? Like he's just gonna show up, do what he knows how to do, because that Atlanta defense was pretty decent. I mean,
they won 4 games in a row or something like that, and they were playing hard, and they were playing better at the end of the season. If you look back at how the year went, it's disappointing. They finished 8-9, I believe. Disappointing because there's a lot of expectations for them to make the playoffs and stuff. But listen, everything falls in your quarterback. They made a huge, commitment to Kirk Cousins, and then they went and, drafted Penix, and Penix has been a disappointment. Cousins was a disappointment too last year. So, it falls on your roster and whether or not you can succeed with the players that you have. And for him, I think he's a good coach. I think, it's probably a little bit unfair to release him and to cut him. But, I think Atlanta's just looking for a fresh start. They got rid of the GM, the coach, and they're just looking to start from scratch, start all over. So,
yeah, I was surprised, and also Gannon from Arizona. I was a little surprised because I feel like they both of them were inheriting that QB. Kyler Murray wasn't great, and you just explained what happened with Cousins, Penix. I just think like maybe these were good coaches, not the best coach. These were good coaches, and they were setting up something for the future. But the owners are just impatient.
Yeah,
they're just impatient.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought the Indy coach was going to get fired.
Yeah, I think the owner came out and gave like a statement about the reasons why she's bringing him back, but I think she set the expectations for next year and I think she let everyone know, like, hey, this performance this year is not acceptable. So I think he's on thin ice, and he can't have a repeat of this season next year at all. And again, he's tied to a quarterback that they drafted that has not had any success whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes for him next year. He has a lot riding on the line for him, I'm sure. If they can't make the playoffs, he's probably going to be fired next year.
So do you think Daniel Jones comes back to that team? Because he's a free agent.
Yeah, but I think they need to because they have nothing else. But he probably will not be ready by the beginning of the season, right? Just because how late his injury was. So they're going to have to figure that out. And they still got to, they drafted their quarterback in the first round. They got to figure out, can they salvage him, or is it just a wasted first round pick? And if it's a wasted pick, is there a team that you can maybe trade him to get something out of it? So that you're not tied to that first round pick. They got some hard decisions to make this offseason for sure. But the coaches go as the players go, and especially the quarterback position. If you're tied to someone that you can't win with, that's probably the end of your coaching career on that team at least.
Yeah, because it was kind of like the reverse with Jerron Mayo. He actually had a good QB, but he was a bad coach.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. The other thing I want to talk about, Ron, is the ratings for this season are up for the NFL, and I attribute that to not only the quarterbacks going down, like the good quarterbacks going down, but also like they hit on almost every matchup as far as like schedule wise.
Yeah.
Like they saved all the good games for last. They even placed the good games on like prime time. I mean, that whoever runs that is going to get in a race for sure.
Yeah, we've had some unbelievable games this year. Every time, I think every week that went by, I thought, wow, this one game this week was the best game of the entire year, all the way until the end of the season, where the Steelers played the Ravens at the end of the season, and it came down to a kick. The final play, the NFL, for that team to decide who goes to the playoffs and who did it. So the games themselves, the schedule themselves, have been great. The ratings are good, and the NFL is doing well when you can have. Basically, every fan now needs to have all of these streaming channels to be able to catch the game, so they can afford to put all these games. We have a playoff game on Prime, I think, this weekend. They can afford to go to Prime, to go to Netflix, to go to wherever, and fans will still dish out the money so that they can see
their team,
the games. Right?
Yeah, even those Thursday games where usually are lousy games, they were exciting to watch.
Right. Yeah.
Even if you just buy the stream service for 1 month just to see your team, they still made money.
Yeah.
So, NFL knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Peacock's the other one too. I was surprised. I forgot what week it was, but you had to have Peacock to stream the game. I was like, this is insane. Like, why is it Peacock only? It's not showing in my local NBC. You have to have the Peacock app to stream the game. It's crazy. It goes to show you NFL is just it's a machine.
It's a money machine.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, so this year, which hasn't happened in the last time that both teams made the playoffs when Mac Jones was there. So Pittsburgh and New England are in the playoffs. Are you going to predict Steelers are in the Super Bowl right now?
No, I'm not going that far. I do think they have a chance to win this first game, and we'll talk about our predictions for this week here. I just don't think the team is good enough on either side of the ball to make a playoff run. But I still think it's wide open in the AFC for sure, and in the NFC. I think it's wide open, and it's going to come down to matchups. It's going to come down to health. It's going to come down to some luck. But no, I would not predict the Steelers are going all the way to Super Bowl at all. Would you say that about the Patriots?
No, not right now. I mean, not after that Week 18 defensive performance, because I really thought that we were going to stifle the Dolphins defensive wide, but that didn't happen. So I want to see more, and I know we didn't have all the guys there, but it's like you said, all the good QBs are not playing, so there's no real. It's hard to pick favorites. It's very hard to pick favorites. Let's talk about Week 18 on it. Let's talk about the fact that you won the regular season total 179 to 163. 16 points, is that right? 16 points beat me by?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get your trophy when I see you next time, and it'll have your name.
That's right.
Deserved.
That's all that matters.
Well-deserved victory. Because I think I came as close as 5 points, and then I took too many chances, and it was just a runaway. But let's talk about Week 18. Let's talk about Pittsburgh versus Baltimore, which basically cost John Harbaugh his job. The only thing that really I'm worried about when I watched that game was the Steelers' defensive backs.
Yeah.
There was way too many big plays. Way too many.
I think that's what happens when you just sell out. And Tomlin talked about that in his press conference. We can't have that. That's like JV, I think is the word he used. But at the same time, when you sell out to stop Henry, And I don't blame him for doing that after what he did like week 17, going for 200 yards or so rushing.
I mean, he still had 126 yards.
Yeah, he did, but those weren't. I mean,
6.3 a clip.
You take away the 3 big runs he had, I think the rest of the game was like 17 for 50 or something like that, 17 for 40. So, he had some the 3 big runs, and that was really it. I think we stifled him, outside of those runs. So I think they did a great job of defending the run. The first play of the game, I thought it was blocked really, really well. I don't think anything the Steelers did on that first run was necessarily bad. It just, it was just blocked really well, and he got loose. But besides that, I thought they played, really, really good defense. They took some chances, like you said, and it burned them with Zay Flowers, some miscommunication, and then Lamar being Lamar, not allowing himself to get sacked and making plays downfield. That's going to happen. Those are the chances you have to take when you're trying to sell out to stop another team. And if Lamar beats you, keeping in mind that he was not 100% healthy, so I don't think we expected him to be able to make some of those plays that he did. You just got to tip your hat to him and give him credit for making those throws.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that he wasn't 100% because he only rushed for 9 yards. Usually he's in the 50s, 40s when he's healthy. He just wasn't. You can tell he wasn't. But he's only 29 years old, so I can see why instead of moving on from Lamar Jackson, just saying what John Harbaugh, it's time to go.
Yeah, and I'm still not 100%. So I think everyone is certain that, okay, the team chose to get rid of Harbaugh and to keep Lamar, and they're going to find some coach to build around him and all that stuff. I would not be 100% shocked if they say, you know what, we got rid of Harbaugh. He's a great coach. We have some issues with Lamar too, especially when it comes to the contract situation, him not having an agent. Now you have that report that came out in the Baltimore Sun with him not necessarily always being 100% engaged. It would not shock me if they decide, let's cut cords with Lamar too, get as much as we can for him, and just start new as well. That would not shock me at all.
Yeah, but that GM that they have doesn't.
Franchise quarterbacks don't get traded. It happens all the time. All the time, franchise quarterbacks get traded, from Peyton Manning to Joe Montana to Cam Newton.
I would say Lamar's in his prime, though. Why would he get traded? He's in his prime. All the Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, they were not in their prime.
With Cam Newton, they moved on from Cam Newton.
Newton
when he was,
did not have it. After 2015, it was all downhill for Cam. I don't think Lamar is going to get traded, especially with that GM Newsom, I think his name is. He's going to stick with
on
Lamar.
from Tom Brady, right?
Who moved that?
The Patriots did.
Not if Brady. You got Robert Kraft, he didn't. That was Bill Belichick who moved on.
Yeah. Nothing will surprise me anymore about and obviously having a franchise quarterback is the most important thing. So, but at the same time, I think once you make that commitment to get rid of your coach that's been there, I think 17, 18 years, you better be damn sure that's the right quarterback. And the next guy you come in is not getting fired the very next year, because again, Lamar, is really the problem. I'm not saying Lamar is the problem. It just it's odd that story came out about Lamar and the issues that the coaching staff has had with him. Right at the end of the year.
I think that GM basically picked a side, and he said, you know what, it's either Lamar or John Harbaugh, and I'm going to go with the Harbaugh because really the expectations almost like the last 3 years was Baltimore in the Super Bowl. That was the expectation. And they were definitely not met. And you had Lamar winning the MVP. I think he won it twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, they did what they had to do. Mm-hmm. However, what is it going to be like 1 year, 2 years? They're going to have expectations. Probably not to make it to the Super Bowl, but they're going to be like, Lamar, you need to put the same numbers that you did when you were healthy. You need to.
If he does it,
if he doesn't, I can see them just like blowing everything up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that would have been the move I made if I was in charge of Baltimore. If I'm not satisfied with how things have gone at the end of the season, yeah, the buck ultimately ends at the head coaching position, but I'm cleaning house. I'd say the same thing for Mike Tomlin. If I'm getting rid of Mike Tomlin, I'm cleaning house there too. I'm looking at all the players on the team and I'm starting fresh. And yeah, they don't have a quarterback anyways. Rodgers is not on the contract next year, but I would be looking at like players like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and say, hey, it's great that you've been, we've had you on this team for forever and you're future Hall of Fame players and all this stuff, but maybe it's time to just blow the entire thing up and start fresh. That's what I would do, as an owner and a coach, or GM. But some I guess owners, teams think, hey, let me just get out one part of the equation and see if we can salvage the relationship, or and I don't know if that's going to necessarily work.
Yeah, but when you think about it, Browns are going to be lousy next year. Cincinnati Bengals basically re-up with that Zach Taylor and like, no, we're just going to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the same problem, why just blow it up? Burrows is already thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
So it's, you take your chances, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I know it's super early. We're talking about the playoffs, but next year, is Tomlin going to be there?
We'll see.
Win or lose this playoff game?
We'll see. I think that's a big if. I think that's still an unknown. Like I said, I think there's still more to come. And there's some coaches that are in the playoffs, not just Tomlin, the Bills coach too. I think I had both those coaches at the beginning of the year on the hot seat because I'm like, hey, this is like year 6 or 7, and you're not meeting expectations. And the expectation is like Super Bowl. You got these star players. I'm thinking about the Bills with Josh Allen. You got to get to the Super Bowl if you have them. If you don't, if you keep falling short, you have to have some level of accountability. There has to be accountability somewhere. If there's no accountability, then you're basically telling your fan base that it's okay to have this great player, the superstar, and it's okay to fall short of your goal every year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Not so much in big markets, but small markets like Buffalo, where you're not really going to get that kind of coverage. Mm-hmm. Like compared to like LA, Miami, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, like those are big markets. Mm-hmm. If you don't win, you get shipped out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same in Buffalo, but yeah, like you have the MVP on your team. You need to like either play for Super Bowls or play for conference championships. Something needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think Josh Allen has made it to either. So
yeah.
Let's talk about the Patriots Dolphins, which was a massacre. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, the only thing that I was worried about was the way that Miami was running the ball a little bit at first, but then again, good coaching. They figured it out and they just locked them down. So they didn't score any points in the second half. Mm-hmm. I think if I'm looking at the team stats right now, the possession time was almost equal. 29 minutes for Miami, 30 minutes for the Patriots. It's just a better offense here.
Mm-hmm. Better team, both teams really. Well, the Patriots had something to play for. The Dolphins did not. Dolphins, had Ewers as their quarterback, which I think tells you a lot about what they think of Tua. Talked about that already. We had a team that's like, hey, I don't want to say they're mailing it in, but like, hey, let me not just go out and get hurt last game of the season. I don't want that to happen. So
no, and they were playing a lot of second tier, third tier players that they just want to make the team for next year. They want to get a call, right? They want to make the training camp. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't at all worried that they were going to lose this game, but I just thought like, okay, you're going to play everybody, all your starters, you better dominate.
Yeah.
And there was, that first quarter was, the defense was kind of shaky, but then they figured. So,
yeah,
I'm not worried at all. Let's talk about our predictions here. And let's start with the passing leaders. Who did you pick?
Yeah, so I thought Burrow, we both had Burrow, it looks like, to be the passing leader, and that happened to be Matthew Stafford, so we were off there for sure. I think we expected Burrow to have a good season, and right on cue, he got hurt. We should have expected that for sure.
Yeah, the same for the passing leaders and TDs. I thought it was going to be Josh Allen and Stafford. And listen, I know we had a debate about the MVP last week, but when you have Puka on your team and you have Adams on your team, and it's like you got all-pro caliber receivers. Yes, we should have saw that a mile away. Yeah,
but Stafford is up there in age too. I'm sure we thought that he'd be up there with passing yards and passing touchdowns, but I just thought Burrow. I had Cincinnati in the playoffs, and we'll get to like the teams and our predictions for teams and stuff, but I had Cincinnati having a good year, and that's why I had Burrow as my passing yard leader and passing touchdowns leader. But again, he got hurt, and even if he stayed healthy, to be honest with you, the way Stafford played and Drake May, I don't think Burrow would have been in that category at all.
We both had Barkley as a rushing leader, but Cook ended up getting the nod. To be honest with you, I don't think Barkley is to blame here. I think it's to blame is whatever the Philadelphia Eagles are doing.
Yeah, he had a down year for sure, and I still got 1,000 yards, but I think there were some changes to the offensive line that might have impacted his performance, but their offense has been a little bit of a mess this year. And like Barkley, did not necessarily have a great year. Now, none of that will matter if he goes out and has an outstanding postseason, and they ride him to the Super Bowl. But yeah, we definitely had Barkley. We thought he'd repeat as the rushing leader, and Cook had a great season.
I mean, you came close with the rushing TDs leader with Derrick Henry. He came on second, right?
Second, yep.
But I thought Lamar Jackson was going to take it. He ended up getting injured, and then Jonathan Taylor is the winner. But I think he would have won the offensive player if they just would have won games at the end.
Yeah, so he started off hot. I think his first 14 touchdowns or so were right off the bat, right beginning of the season. And we were talking about him being in the MVP conversation at one point. Certainly the offensive player of the year conversation, and even that has cooled down with the way Njigba has played at the receiver position. I think he cooled off once the quarterback got hurt. Once Daniel Jones got hurt, his numbers kind of started to cool down a little bit, which isn't surprising. But Taylor still finished with 18 touchdowns, which is impressive.
Yeah, and they were talking about Tomlinson numbers with him, and that didn't materialize at all. The receiving leaders, you had McConkey, I had Chase, same thing. I mean, McConkey,
not good. 60-something receptions. I think I was way off with that prediction. He just did not have the year I thought he was going to have at all.
But we'll talk about it because they had so many injuries the Chargers did. And then Chase, we already talked about, he's tied with Burrows, so with no Burrows, he was not going to get a lot of catches at all. Nakua ended up winning it, which, again, with the kind of year Stafford was having it,
yeah,
he was going to win it. The receiving leaders, again, you had Chase, I had Jefferson. We know what happened with the Minnesota.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy was not it.
not at all. It was kind of a little bit surprising to me, but and even I thought, like, even if he didn't play well, I thought Jefferson would still have a better year than he did. And then with me, of course, thinking Burrow would have a good year, I automatically thought, okay, well, that means Chase would have a great year too. But it was Jackson Smith and Jigma, again, have an outstanding year. And again, taking the lead in the offensive player of the year conversation away from Taylor. So, he just, what he finished with almost 1,800 yards receiving is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Puka is leading it, or odds-wise anyways, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Njigba, because 1,800 yards is, a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of yards. With the receiving TDs, this was a homer pick by you, wasn't it? DK Metcalf, and I have Nico Collins, but Adams ended up winning it. And he got hurt late. I don't think he played the last 2 games, right?
No. He, 14 touchdowns is like one of those stats that's just hard to predict. But obviously that was a huge pickup for them for sure, to have Adams on that team. And then when you get into the red zone, he's a threat. That's who Stafford looks for. So I thought it'd be the same with Metcalf and Rodgers this year, but that just did not pan out at all. I think Metcalf finished with like 6 touchdowns on the season. So,
and he didn't even play the 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Sack leader, we both went with TJ Watt, but Myles Garrett actually broke the record.
Yeah. Not surprising, though.
It's not surprising, but even with that injury, that lung injury to TJ Watt, I don't think he would have gone there.
No. I think there's some other injuries that he's facing, just they're quiet about, because he just did not look like himself the entire year. So I don't think it's just, that he's just all of a sudden gotten a step slower. I think there's some injuries that he's playing through. And that's why he hasn't looked the same. So I hope, he can rebound next year for sure.
Last winless team. You had Miami. I had New Orleans. But we should have known this. I think we gave Aaron Glenn way too much respect. It was a New York Jet. They didn't win it till week 8.
Yeah.
We knew that Miami had issues, and we knew that New Orleans, you like Shuck, but he didn't get the nod at first.
Right.
If they would have gone with Shuck from the very beginning, I think they would have even made it in the playoffs with the NFC South being so bad.
Yeah, I was watching an interview on Shuck, on, I think, PFT Live, and, that question came up, like, where, do you think you would have made the playoffs, and where do you think you'd be and the team would be if you started the beginning of the season? He was like, listen, I wasn't ready at the start of the year. I was not mentally and physically ready to be the starter at the beginning of the season. And he said it was the right decision to not have him start. So it's I think it's just good perspective, to have that, look on yourself. And I think for next year, I think, for sure, if they can put some pieces around him, he's going to have a lot of success for sure.
Yeah, and they already come out and made the announcement that he's going to be the starter for next year. Mm-hmm. Last undefeated team, you had Philly, I had San Francisco, but you actually hit on this one. Even though
so Bills and Eagles both made it all the way to week 5 when they got their first loss. And it's a little bit surprising that it happened this early, because I think if you look at past years, you've seen teams go 7-0, 8-0 before they finally get knocked off with their first loss. So to have it as, every team by like week 4, I think 80 to 90% of the teams had at least one loss. It's crazy how the year started to where it's ended, where so many teams, there's such a difference between the teams that are at the top and the teams that are at the bottom. You're talking about so many teams having just 3 or 4 wins. I think there was a lot of, beginning of the year, a lot of these teams were close to each other, but by the end of the year, there's huge separation between the teams.
I went with San Francisco because their schedule was so easy, but then Purdy ended up getting hurt, and Matt Jones had to take over, and it was like up and down with Matt Jones. Who was your division winners for the AFC, Ron?
Yeah, we were horrible with our divisional winners for both conferences. For the AFC, I had Buffalo winning the East, Cincinnati winning the North, Houston winning the South, and Denver winning the West.
Which you hit on that one.
Yeah, that was the only one I hit on.
Yeah, same thing. Buffalo for the East, Baltimore for the North, Houston for the South, and then KC, which was a disaster. It was a major disaster. They didn't even make the playoffs. It was a bad.
Yeah.
Who did you have for the wild card?
Yeah, so I had the Chargers winning the wild card. Kansas City, as you mentioned, having that. I talked at the beginning of the year. I thought Kansas City would have a down year, but I wasn't brave enough to just not put them in the playoffs altogether. So I had them with the wild card spot, and then I had Pittsburgh in the wild card as well.
Yeah, and I had the Chargers, I had Denver, and I had Cincinnati. We just didn't think that Cincinnati was going to have such a bad season.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I think we know that defense matters. I know Burrows was hurt for like most of the year, but I know defenses matters, man. And they had none. They had none whatsoever. What were your division winners for the NFC?
Yeah, so my prediction was the Eagles would win the East, Detroit would win the North, Tampa would win the South, and San Fran would win the West. So horrible there.
Yeah, we equally the same. We only hit on Philly. More respect for Seattle than we thought. And what were your wild card for the NFC?
The Commanders I had in there. Probably a lot of people did. Dallas I thought would make it, and then the Rams as my third wild card team.
I actually hit two of these. The Rams, Green Bay, and Washington. Like it's kind of a head scratcher why they were so bad. But now that you look back, I know that Daniels missed a couple of games, but like they just had too many old players on that team.
Yeah,
way too many old players.
As a whole, we weren't too far off, right? I think I had 9 out of 14 teams that I chose to make the playoffs. Made it. You had 8 out of the 14. We just didn't hit the actual divisional winners. Who would win the division? We were just off in who we picked, but I don't think we were that far off when you looked at the actual teams that would make the playoffs. Most of them that we chose were actually teams that made the playoffs.
Well, with Detroit, we know now that defenses and offensive coordinators matter. Not just Absolutely. The head coach. Like if you lose both of them, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're going to be in deep trouble. So what were our predictions? Because we talked about our own team's predictions. And I'm looking at the Patriots, and I was way off with my predictions of Drake May.
I think everyone was. No one expected him to have the year that he had, right?
Stevenson, I was a little bit closer. He ended up having 600. I chose 700, but I still went over. The one that's actually surprising when I'm looking at it is the Stephon Diggs, man. 85 receptions.
Catches, 600 yards, and he had 85 for 1,000 yards. I think I had 1,000 yards or close to it for him as my prediction. I knew he'd be the number one. So to me, it wasn't surprising. The other surprising one is Travion Henderson. Just looking at what you had for him, you thought he was going to get like around 300 yards, and he went off almost getting 1,000 yards.
Almost getting 1,000 yards. Yeah, let's be honest. The first 6 weeks, he was not to be found.
Yeah.
And then that whole Stevenson fumble-eye thing. Henderson got more play, and then they went back to Stevenson, and now they have like a two-headed monster for the playoffs. Are you surprised by your predictions?
No, I was pretty close with Aaron Rodgers. I had him going for 3,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he was at 3,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he missed a game and a half, I think, or 2 games. So I was pretty much on point with how I thought he'd play. The running backs, I was off for sure on Caleb Johnson. I thought he'd have a much bigger year. I predicted him to get 850 yards. He finished with 69 yards and 1 touchdown. So he was a non-factor for the Steelers, like complete non-factors. And he's been inactive the last 4 or 5 weeks, not even getting a helmet. And that, I think, is just more about, the success the Steelers have had with the other running backs.
Once he got Aaron Rodgers, not.
Yeah, exactly.
They forgot about Caleb Johnson.
Yeah. And on the receiving side, DK, I think I had an ambitious goal of like 90 receptions. He wasn't anywhere close to it. He wouldn't have got there even with the 2 games he missed. Finished with 59 receptions, 850 yards. I had him at 1,100 yards. I had him for 10 touchdowns. He got 6. So, I expected him to have a bigger impact. I think everyone did. And, even in the games that he played, there were some games where you're like, why can't we get this guy more involved? And just, for whatever reason, we just haven't been able to. So,
yeah. And then they tried, because there was some reverses, some like bubble screens. They tried. They tried, but there was a lot of drop balls too. I don't know what's going on, Trey said. Let's talk about the weekend that's coming up, Ron. Let's talk about the Saturday games. Carolina Panthers at Los Angeles Rams. This is a 4:30 game. This is the biggest spread of the weekend. Rams by 10 points. 46.5 is the over and under. Who'd you go with, Ron?
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams here. I don't think they'll cover that spread. I think we need to give Carolina a little bit more credit here. I got the Rams winning 27-20.
This, we don't do upset specials for the playoffs, but this to me is my upset special of the week. I actually like the Carolina in this game. I know I don't like the way that the Rams have been playing the last couple of games.
Yeah.
I think they won game 18, but they lost the previous 2. There was just a lot of inconsistency with Stafford. Mm-hmm. I got Carolina winning this close game 24-21. I think Carolina pulls this off. This is probably as far as they go. The fact that they have to travel to the East Coast for this game. I know I like McVay a lot, but I think, he's already hinted that this might be his last year. I know he was mad when he said that, but I don't know. I just don't have the same confidence that everyone else does. And 10 points is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The next game, this is Saturday night. We have the Chicago Bears. We have the Green Bay Packers playing at Chicago Bears. Green Bay is favored by 1.5. 45.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, Green Bay is a team has not played well down the stretch. There's questions about quarterback health. I think they announced Love will be ready to go this week, but even when he was playing, he didn't necessarily look his best. I think there's still questions about that offense. Chicago, on the other hand, has played well all season. They won their division. I'm taking Chicago to win this one 27-24. I don't trust Green Bay. I don't think the Green Bay's defense is as good as advertised, especially now without Parsons. I think Chicago will be able to score. It'll be a fairly high-scoring game. I'll take the Bears to win this one.
I actually like Green Bay because I think Love has something to prove. But then I saw a stat today where each, like three or 4 years in a row, they've made the playoff as a wild card. They haven't actually won the division. They just get in there because of the way the playoff format with the 17th. That got me a little bit worried, but I still like Green Bay. I know Love has missed 2 games. I just feel like this could be, and also another thing that I saw that Matt LaFleur, he hasn't gotten a new contract. He's basically playing, like a lame duck.
Yeah.
So
big decision on him as well. Another coach I forgot to mention, because they turned the reins over to Love. And I think he's had an up and down season. Good, there's some good, some bad. But like you said, you keep getting to the playoffs but not making a run, and you gotta figure out what is your standard. Are you comfortable with like this as a result, or do you want to get over the hump? And do you have the right person to get you over the hump? So you're right. He's a lame duck coach, and if he loses this week, it would not shock me too.
No, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think that he'll throw the kitchen sink on this game because it's almost like a must-win. I know that this is a playoff, so every game is a must-win, but he's literally playing for his job. So I got Green Bay 24-21. Like I said, it's going to be a high-scoring game, but it's going to be very entertaining. So we are switching up to Sunday's slate. We have the first game, which is Buffalo Bills at Jacksonville Jaguars. We got the Buffalo, interesting enough, favored by 1.5. So basically, all the road teams are favored so far. 52.5 is a point spread. Ron, what's your prediction?
I am taking Jacksonville to win this one, 31-28. I just think Josh Allen is the best player in the NFL, but I think this has been his worst team. If you look at just a collective unit, starting with the offense, the receivers not having a lot of weapons. I think that he trusts to throw to. And then the defense, has been shoddy at best this year. And Jacksonville, you got to give them credit. I think they're a well-coached team. Trevor Lawrence is having his best year. And keep in mind, they didn't play any of their starters last week. And, they're basically coming off a bye week, even though they're, the backups played. So they got extra time to kind of prepare and rest. And I'm taking Jacksonville to win this one again, 31-28.
I got Buffalo winning 28-27. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the fact that Buffalo played the Jets, Josh Allen went out there for one snap and then left the game. Just to keep the streak going.
Worrying, though, right? It can be, it can be a little worrying if you're not out there getting reps and you show up a little slow. You start off slow. You might be rested, but, it might take you a couple drives to get into a groove.
But I feel like that's been their MO for the whole year.
That's true.
They start out slow. First half, they don't score a lot. And then second half, it's like an explosion of point. I like the offensive coordinator for Buffalo. Not so much the coach. I think his defenses, they have holes. But again, you have the MVP on your team. This should be a close game. And you're favored on the road, which is a disrespect for Jacksonville. I think they've won like 4 games in a row. But I'm going to go with Buffalo getting the win on the road over Jacksonville. I think because we live in Florida, we might get too much of the hype, but this is going to prove it whether or not Jacksonville, is deserving of this hype. Because I think I saw somebody on TV saying that they got Jacksonville winning the Super Bowl. I was like, whoa, that's pretty bold. This is like first-year head coach.
Yeah.
Let's see how they do in the first game of the playoffs before we start making statements like.
I think that goes to show you how how open the AFC is, and I think most of these teams, I wouldn't say every single team can win it, but most of these teams have a shot at making a run. So it is wide open. Why not Jacksonville? If they can get past Buffalo, why not?
Yeah, that's a big test. The next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored by 4.5. 44.5 is the point spread. Ron, who'd you go with?
I'm taking Philly to win this one in a close game, 23-20, and it's more so a couple things. I had Philly winning the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning of the year. I just think that they will get things together, and now that we're in the playoffs at this point, and then San Francisco had a great season, but last week they did not look. They almost were shut out. They got held to 3 points, I think, against Seattle. So I still got questions on whether or not I trust Purdy and that San Francisco offense, especially against an even better defense potentially in the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles winning 20-10. I think they go over the spread. I just don't trust that San Francisco offense, and now I'm almost thinking that Shanahan is not that good of a coach because
look at all the injuries he's had this year, and
but he has a 1-17 record when he's down by 7 in the fourth quarter. I mean, that is not a good record, no matter who your QB is. So I got Philly winning. I mean, if they did bad against Seattle, imagine the Eagles' defense.
But we did have Seattle. I think we both had Seattle as our top ranked team, right? Or at least like top 3. So, I think we all agree though Philadelphia's defense is probably even better.
The problems have been offensive for the Eagles, not so much defense. I think defense they got it down, but I got them winning 20-10. I think that Hurst does his thing in the playoffs. He's much better with the lights on, I guess. I don't know, prime time. This is not a prime time game, but I still think that they can play better. Now, if 49ers beat them by some chance of a miracle, I'm not going to be surprised because are they playing a good offense? The Eagles playing good offense? I know they just got beat by Commanders, but they were sitting all their starters, so.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know. All right, Sunday night game. This is Los Angeles Chargers and New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 3.5. 46.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, so I saw something today about the number of people picking the Patriots to win and the amount of money too that's on the Patriots to win. I think people are sleeping on the Chargers a little bit. Yeah, their offensive line is a problem for sure, and they have to figure out how to protect Herbert. But the Chargers defense is good, borderline great, and I still think that Herbert is capable of throwing for 300 yards. He has some good weapons at the receiver position. He has a good tight end. The running back is back. They have 2 good quality running backs. So I think this is going to be a really close game. And we'll see, as we get closer to Sunday where the point spread goes. But I'm taking the Chargers to pull off somewhat of an upset here and win 26-23.
Yeah, so I saw everyone's picking New England to win this game. Listen, if I look at all the wildcard teams, who has the better offense, it would be LA Rams number 1 and then New England number 2. I just want to see New England defense against this offense. Now, it is true what you said. This defense for the Chargers is pretty good. It's like the best. Someone says the best defense that New England is going to face this year. But I want to see them try to stop Drake May.
Right.
And that's why, no surprise, I'm going for New England here to win it 30-17. I know
you got a blowout, basically.
Yeah, because I know that they have so many problems with the offensive line, the Chargers do. And they got a quarterback who's might be gimpy. He might not be able to use both hands.
He took a week off last week. He didn't play at all, so got some extra rest.
Well, like you said, Josh Allen did the same thing. That could be not good, right?
Yeah, it could be good or bad.
It could be good or bad. You don't know. But I got New England winning this one, 30-17. I think that it's going to be close at first because, again, the New England defense they're not good in the red zone, but also they don't make you have any big plays. Very hard to have a big plays. And I think Chargers have pretty good wide receivers, but we have pretty good defensive backs.
Yeah. So
I'm going to be excited to see this game.
You putting money on this one?
Oh, for sure.
The Patriots, okay.
This is it's weird. Last year they did a wild card in the Monday night game, right? Because I feel like this is not new.
Yeah. That first game, by the way, I think it's the first one that's on Prime. I don't know if they did a playoff game, like stream the playoff game, and not have on local challenge or a local channel last year.
No, the Packers Bears game is on Prime because they've been advertising that like nonstop. Are you
surprised that they put that on a streaming channel versus a local channel?
Well, it's a Saturday game. I feel like the local channels own Sunday game.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever new contract that the NFL have with these streaming services, they're like, we'll give you any Saturday game that you want.
Yeah, but including the playoffs. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the new deal that they got. So the last game of the wild card weekend is Houston Texans at Pittsburgh Steelers. Houston is favored by 3 points. 39.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, listen, I think the monkey is off of Tomlin's back this week, and I think the Steelers are going to come out and win this game, not just because of all the momentum from the Ravens game and how the fans reacted. Well, Pittsburgh, they don't lose on Monday night. They typically do not lose on Monday night games. And then Houston, I saw some stat, I don't remember off the top of my head. When it comes to road playoff games, they're like 1-6 or something like that. So they're not good on the road when it's a playoff. So I got Pittsburgh winning this one. I think having Metcalf back, that'll, have a huge impact. Now, Houston's defense is great. Don't get me wrong. They have some shutdown corners. They have a great pass rush. But I'm still going to take the Steelers to win this one. I think they'll be able to put up some points. I got them winning 23-17. I'm not impressed by Houston's offense and CJ Stroud. I don't think they can win with the type of ball that they play. If you look at the stats, their running backs, they have not had a running game of any sort this season. And CJ Stroud's numbers himself as a quarterback hasn't been great either. So offensively, I think, it'll be difficult for them to score against Pittsburgh. And I think the Steelers should be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got Steelers winning 24-21. This is going to be probably the second toughest game of the weekend because Houston has a 9-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. So they're going to put that on the line. Again, it's going to come down to a kick, and I don't know who to trust more. I went with your kicker. What's his name? Boswell?
There you go. Boswell, yeah.
Yeah, Boswell. Yeah, I went with the kicker. I think that at the end he's going to win it. I didn't like the fact that Aaron Rodgers had to throw the ball 47 times to win against Baltimore, but they shut down that running game, even though Jalen Warren was running really well the second half. Yeah,
they basically sold out it just like we did to try to stop the run, and they dared the receivers to beat them, which any coach would have done the same thing because without Metcalf, it's like, what do the Steelers have at the receiver position? But those guys, Adam Thielen, stepped up. Calvin Austin was back from injury, and he stepped up. MVS had a couple important catches too. So, and now DK is back. I don't think Houston. I mean, I don't think they need to either. I think that their front is that good where they don't have to sell out to necessarily stop the run. I think they can just play normal defense and have some success against us. But I struggle to find how Houston can score because they have no threat at the running position at all. I think Steelers are easy to be able to make them one-dimensional, and that favors the Steelers. If we force you to be one-dimensional, usually our defense can play really well.
Oh yeah, because I remember the Houston coach was a defensive coordinator for the San Francisco before Robert Saleh took over, and it's the same scheme. They're not going to blitz a lot. They're just going to let the forefront pressure the quarterback. I don't know how that's going to work.
They are no joke. They are no joke. Maybe the best. I think Tomlin called them the best tandem as far as rushing the quarterback in the NFL. So they are serious. We got to figure out how to pass protect for sure.
Now, if my predictions come to fruition and New England wins and Pittsburgh wins, that means that the next divisional round, it's Pittsburgh at New England. And is
that for sure?
That if everything stays the same, that's what I read. I will not be flying to Massachusetts because I just came back from Massachusetts. And it's going to be really, really cold for that game.
Yeah.
But that will be a very interesting game because I don't think we've met Pittsburgh in the playoffs for a couple of years now.
Yeah, it's been a few years for sure.
Yeah, so that should be a really great game. But before we get to that game, let's get through this game first. So what do you have to say to the Steelers fans out there? The one that, I don't know, the ones that wanted Tomlin or the ones that didn't want Tomlin?
Whether you want Tomlin to leave at the end of the season once the season is over or not, I think you should be rooting for. We need to come together and root for the Steelers to win a playoff game. I know I was one of the people saying I want them to lose because that's what I thought it would take for them to move on. But now that we're in the playoffs and we have a home game against a team I think we're capable of beating, it'd be great for them to win and for Tomlin to get that monkey off his back and win a playoff game because I think they are talented enough to do so. So I think we just got to, show up. The fans do. They got to be loud, and I'm sure they will. And I think, we have a good chance of winning.
Now, what happens if, I'm going to play devil's advocate, what happens if they lose this game? Does he get an extension? Does he stay? What happens to Tomlin?
I don't know
Rodgers
what will actually
said that this is last year.
What's that?
Rodgers already said that it is last year.
Well, there's some speculation he might come back or whatever. I don't necessarily know, but my position has not changed. Win a playoff game and all is forgiven. Win one playoff game, I'll forgive you on everything. You lose, then just because you beat the Ravens week 18, it means nothing, right? Playoffs is what's important. So if they don't show up and they end up losing this game, then yeah, I think I would still be in favor with him, moving on. I don't know if Rooney will fire him, but I would be in favor in Rooney and him getting together and say, hey, let's have a mutual split and, try to keep this thing positive and just, move on from each other because, 9 years, 10 years, whatever it's been without a playoff win is not acceptable.
That's a long time. That's a long time. Listen, whether win or lose against the Chargers, everything that Mike Vrabel promised when he was hired came to fruition. We got the AFC title. We got a home playoff game. This is his first year. This is the house money that we're playing with.
Yeah.
Because the expectations were like, well, if you win 8 games, that should be good.
Right.
This is it. And we know that this is a good team. So yes, it was a cupcake schedule, but they got better as time went on.
Yeah.
So this is house money. Every game is just them beating expectation. So
Right.
I'm not mad.
Speaking of schedules, it won't be as easy next year. Schedules is not the actual schedule, but the opponents for next year came out. And I think if I remember correctly, Patriots supposedly, and I'm putting this in quotes, had one of the tougher schedules next year just based on opponents.
I think they're the 5th toughest schedule. 5th or 6th, I don't know. But you know what? That's what happens when you win.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens when you win. So it's not like it's unexpected. But you know what? Let's see when the NFL honors come, who wins the MVP. Because let's say for whatever happens with Carolina and Rams, if Carolina win, does that hurt his MVP numbers? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if they've already voted or not. I've heard some voters come out and say, hey, I'm voting for this person. I don't think it's like one person they get to vote for. They get to vote for like 2 or 3 people or something. I don't know the exact number, right? So it's not necessarily one person that they're voting for, but I know Kyle Grant, he mentioned that he would be voting, like one of his votes is going to go to a non-quarterback, believe it or not, because he thought, I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Njigba or, I think it was McCaffrey. I think that's who he said he's going to give one of his votes to. Because quietly McCaffrey has had an outstanding season. No one's really talking about it. But it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. I think both May and Stafford can make a case for winning the MVP.
Yeah, but the only thing is that I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I know that Stafford, they expect the Rams to make it further in the playoffs, even though they're, a wild card team. New England, they're favored by 2.5 doesn't mean a lot because this is a good Chargers team. So let's see where the chips fall, because I know that, they don't include the playoffs, but I feel like they do matter. I feel like they do matter if you're technically the best, the MVP or the best quarterback in the league. Next week we'll have the divisional games. We'll have episode 146, and maybe I'll feel better. We'll be in a better place, and we won't have to do this Zoom call, remote, stationary, whatever this is called, because it's not technically. This is not like we're in the headquarters. Like I want to say the headquarters, and then next week you'll get your trophy. So all good things.
Yeah.
So we'll find out this weekend if, in fact, you'll be coming to New England, or I don't know if the Chargers win and Pittsburgh win. I think the Chargers go against Denver because they're the lower seed.
Yeah, the lowest seed, right?
Yeah. So, there's a lot. This is an exciting weekend for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now: if the Patriots and the Steelers end up playing each other, I don't know if I'll be able to watch that game with you, because one of us is going to walk away like angry, the other person will walk away upset, happy. So, don't know if we can watch that game together.
I think we can watch it in public. I don't know if we can watch it in a room by ourselves. I think sparks will fly. At least in public, you kind of demeanor is low profile.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you watch this at home, things will fly. Sparks will fly, like they say. So until next time, I say peace.
Peace.
All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.
go.